and gentlemen, everybody, we have been blessed from the riot gods. They came from up above and they heard what we were doing. They heard there were two lonely freelance shoutcasters who were redesigning champions. So they said, let it be written. We will do the same. We will let you have a chance to redesign a champion that actually exists. And we said, yes, let it be glorious. So that's basically what we're gonna do.
Gosh! For any of you guys who are tuning in and don't know what the heck it is we're talking about, there is currently a choose a champion update for 2020 thing going on, which I've dropped the link for. In fact, I might as well just put it up on the screen as well. Because there's a... Right, link. I guess I'm going to be the top right. But yeah. So guys, welcome to our first champion redesign workshop,
Yes.
where we dare to spit in the face of gods themselves and try and do one better. Because thinking about reworking Volibear and Dr. Mundo, we thought that maybe we could take a crack at them, maybe ahead of time. Let me just check everything's working actually, because last time we
had a few issues.
Yes, and oh hello, that's. What is going on? Oh. No, I think it's okay. Maybe? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, just fools ding me. So, there's 5 champions on the champion update choices. So we've got Mundo and Volibear, that's who we'll be looking at today. There's also Fiddlesticks, Nocturne, and Shyvana. So Shyvana. I guess we'll see how it goes today. Yeah, because we've only designed our own champions before. We've got no idea how hard it is going to be to go through and maybe not completely redesign, but at least provide some kind of thoughts.
A baseline, at least.
Yeah. So Exodus, I think it would make sense for us first of all to kind of go through what we're starting with. Mm-hmm. So for Volibear, what are kind of the core concepts here?
Okay, so we had a little off-camera discussion about this as well. Full disclaimer. So basically, we're gonna do the same work in progress that Riot tries to do, or at least that we think Riot does. As in, they want to keep the core concept of what is this champion and what makes this champion iconic, and that's, I think, the thing we're gonna try to do here as well. So let's start with Volibear. So Volibear is, for me. Volibear, just as in gameplay, is a champion that the tank that flips people back to you, and the tank that runs at you and is very tanky and can heal back, of course. So that's kind of his core concept. We looked at some of the lore because wasn't 100% familiar. So basically, Volibear got gifted throughout his story a sort of thunderous powers or lightning powers from some divine being, which I felt was very underused, because I think his ultimate is probably the most underwhelming ability in the game. As in, it doesn't feel like an ultimate ability. It doesn't have the oomph that most ultimates have, and that's kind of where people say they should change it around Volibear. Now, going to Mundo. Mundo's lore is basically very stupid. As in, well, it's very basic. As in, yeah, he kind of resembles some Hulk-like-ish character, let us say. And, it doesn't really have all that much going for him, but I think his kit is very interesting. And I think the ability we definitely would want to see back in Mundo is Q, because his cleaver is basically what makes Mundo Mundo. That along with his ultimate, of course, but his ultimate we can kind of change it a bit. Okay, I think that's a very short intro of what we're going to do here today.
Yeah, and welcome guys to the stream. Welcome to my sister Lottie, who's never played League of Legends or any games like this ever, so this should be an interesting experience for her. She tries to follow what the heck it is we're talking about. But alright, so we've got 2 relatively similar champions here. We can see that their passives both revolve around regenerating health. I think people could generally be forgiven for being like, what are Volibear's abilities again? I think probably just run at people, and that's about it. Like there's some other stuff going on there, but a lot of it's kind of invisible. And for Mundo, yeah, it's just the cleaver really and regeneration. Like because you kind of just there are very few champions in the game where it's like their passive and their ultimate are broadly the same ability, but just more of one than the other. And
Yeah,
it's kind of lame.
Also, think that is we can change this passive, as in, yeah, it's important, but it's only important in lane for Mundo. So basically, I mean, that's not something we have to keep in there. Who do you want to start with first, Volibear or Mundo?
I feel like let's start with Volibear because I've got more ideas for Mundo, so I don't want to kind of get too hung up on it because we'll have like our hour today, and I want to make sure we get Volibear sort of treated properly before we kind of dive off into Mundo, where I probably will just be able to kind of rattle off things a bit more easily. So let's stick Volibear over in the right hand side, so we've got some space to work with over on the left of the screen. So okay, so his passive, I mean, compared to some of the passives in the game, some of the incredibly rubbish passives, it's more interesting. But apart from that, it at least has an activation condition, which a lot of passives are just kind of like literally straight passives, and they don't do anything at any point. What do you? How much do you like the Chosen to the Storm, the regeneration after a certain point?
The thing is, I love it when you're playing him. No, when you're playing him. But from a designer's perspective, it gives, just because if you start with this passive, it's very difficult to work around his kit. As in, this is what makes him a huge tank. So I don't know if we should keep it. I think we can kind of incorporate it into something else where he heals back a lot of his HP, but I don't know if we should necessarily keep it exactly the same.
Okay.
I think we can do something that because we're kind of Riot is our cheat sheet here, so they like things that heal you more when you're low. It makes sense, as in the ability feels very fulfilling, but at the same time in lane it doesn't do that much. As in, yeah, when you're 80% of your HP, you can't just keep healing to full. But when you're low, it's a very powerful impact. For example, like the Warwick Q. When you're low and you bite someone, you use your Q, it's very, okay, this ability heals me a lot. Or Gangplank Oranges, but when you're full, it's like, yeah, okay, gives me like 100 HP back. I think we can do something similar, where he gets a small healing factor from something, but when he's low, he gets like tripled or something.
Well, okay, so here's my broad concept for Volibear, because you're right. Like, the most interesting thing about him is not necessarily that he's a bear, even though that is kind of compelling, but it's that's very straightforward. I feel like maybe the lightning needs to come into his kit a lot more centrally. So my proposal is, I mean, this isn't necessarily the most original idea in the world, but I think it still functions relatively well, which is, let's see if I still got the page open. It's basically to build a static shiv into his kit. And then so that which he charges up by basically the same way a static shiv is charged up currently, by movement. So we've got the whole idea of Volibear being encouraged to kind of to run at people, and maybe as part of that passive, because again, there's definitely more room to have more than that in the passive, that he heals. That he deals magic damage with his auto attacks, and like he deals magic damage with everything, but he heals off his magic damage done, and similar to Warwick you mentioned before as a potential kind of source for this, that he heals more when he's low on health, so he's forced to get into a fight to stay alive.
We can actually even make it that we can make his kit revolve around the passive being instantly refunded, the cooldown, or the energy for whenever he does something fulfilling. For example, when you flip it, if we keep the flipping, when you flip a champion, you would instantly get a second charge at your passive, which makes him which I think makes it very fulfilling. If you flip a champion, okay, I'm kind of screwed over here. I got flipped, and he's gonna deal a lot of damage to me now.
Oh, so hello, Woong in the chat. So let's see. You don't think he
Hey,
makes the heals from damaging people when he has full AP damage, so people won't play him tank. They'll opt to more AP then, and Volley
the
should be a
thing is,
frontline
I think
engager.
we should make him. Why isn't Volley? Because he has amazing scaling, AP wise. Why doesn't he? Isn't he being played um, as an AP champion right now? Easy because you can kite him very easily. And I think we should kind of keep that in his kit as well. As in, he should be able to kite him, but he should be able to get to you very fast if he needs to.
Yeah, I think the okay, but well, that's a good thought. Like, I don't know if I guess we'll have to consider as well whether we want to give the option of making him more, more glass cannon style. Like, because at the moment he's actually got AP scaling on his Majestic Roar and his Thunderclaws, so theoretically you could play him AP. I don't know if he ever did, or if it was ever good.
It has never been good. Like what was good on him. I think right now it's also pretty good. Wits End was a pretty okay item on him.
Hmm.
But now,
Okay, Wong's got some ideas. So thinks that the ult needs to enhance his engage, maybe with his Q, makes those utility.
yeah, definitely. His ultimate should probably be an engage too. That's actually a very good remark there.
Yeah, I quite like that idea as well, especially because, like, so if we settle on the idea that you shove a static shiv into his passive, and then we'll try and tie this into his kit in some way, like, I think on health, I think healing from the magic damage is probably okay, just because I can't imagine it being strong enough to kind of make it so that if he just stacks AP, that he'll be unkillable.
I don't think if he stacks AP, because I think we really need to force him into a tank. But we can make sure we can actually make it not having any scaling. Like we can set it as it does a flat amount of magic damage, and then building him AP will not have any effect on him. Like there are a lot of champions who just have flat amounts of damage on abilities, because Riot sometimes just we don't want any scaling. I think like Poppy's Q doesn't scale or scales extremely badly because it has a very large base amount, but they don't want people playing Poppy AD. That's also why it's never being used. I think it's so many that's percentage, no scaling combined with it. I think that's fine.
So Wong's asking if we're dealing with numbers. Probably not, just because I think a lot of time if we're dealing with numbers, that kind of comes much, much later on in the process to try and nail down numbers. Normally just looking at like sort of small, medium, or large amounts. So,
I think those are the terms we use, and I think those are the terms Riot as well uses, as in small, medium, large, or extreme, or something. You know what is really makes champion, and you can tweak those later.
let's see. Healing from someone else's AP or AD.
What if his ultimate becomes? Because I just had an idea, so I think we should really work the storm concept in it more. Because his name is chosen of the storm or something, or
yes,
thunderous roar, or.
But yeah, no, you're right. It's like that feels like that's the part of his kit that's kind of really kind of underutilized at the moment. So
what if his ultimate is something like, what if it's an engaging tool, but he summons up a storm, as in he summons up a storm, and you can make it so that it slows people around you or something.
Oh, you mean like
sort of like Fiddlesticks, maybe, or not necessarily. You can make it sort of like an Ornn ultimate. That also gives it more, because Ornn is his brother somehow. So it kind of makes that he can drag the ultimate like an equalizer would do, like he would drag an equalizer, and it blows people. It blows in that direction, or there's a storm coming from that direction, which also slows you a bit, which is kind of an engaging tool while dealing damage at the same time. And you can tweak this very easily.
Wait, Wong's saying like the old TF ulti. What? Wait, what did TF used to have as an ulti? I thought he's always had the same one.
No. His destiny used to be on his E.
Oh, wait, what was his old? So let's look at his history on the wiki.
Wow, that's like, I think that's season 1 even, or before, even before. I think that's beta. I mean, look it up. Twisted Fate.
Show more. So I remember like ulti was he slows everyone on the map. Hey, Taka Gaming, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're trying to figure out what the If we go back to, I have to go back all the way for his version history. Which doesn't actually an alpha. So what's his old Destiny ability? It doesn't actually. There's no description left for his old Destiny ability. Oh, but it did apparently used to slow everyone. Well, what about
okay.
the Oh man, I'm feeling really dumb that I can't remember the name, but the support item Zeke's, is it Zeke's Harbinger?
Yeah. The red one where you could do you mean the one where you cast an ult when you get a slowing storm around you?
Oh yeah, I mean Zeke's Convergence. Sorry, not Zeke's Harbinger. Yeah. So if we're gonna just bung a bunch of items into his kit, like maybe something like the Zeke's Convergence. So he creates. I really love the idea of him creating a storm around him. That, I mean, it could just be it could be as straightforward as being an AOE slow.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward, and it's not necessarily bad. As in, if the area is like if it's a medium area, and he combined it with his current Q, that means that it becomes more advantageous for him to run up to someone and he can throw him back more easy because they're slowed, and nobody else can't really kite him anymore because of the slowing on his ultimate. So I think it would fit into his kit very well.
Okay, well, how about Wung had the good idea. So it's kind of like the old Maokai ultimate. So he busts a circle around him, and maybe when he's in that circle, his passive. Maybe his passive charges faster,
or he can heal. He can heal from damage dealt, or an amount at least. I mean, I don't think it necessarily needs to deal a lot of damage, but he can heal for the damage being dealt.
Well, if he's already healing for the chain lightning, maybe the storm extends the reach of his chain lightning. So
fair enough.
So that he'll be able to get it to more people, and also charge it faster. So he's kind of like he's just doing the same thing but more. And I guess enemies could be slowed or something.
Or get like 20 adaptive damage per champion in the storm. Now that's a very interesting one.
Oh, yeah, I like that idea.
I like that. I like that very well.
Okay, so gets bonus. Or maybe his chain lightning does more damage for each person it passes through.
Oh yeah. So it becomes supercharged. So basically, his passive does more damage. As in, the more people are around him, the better for Volibear.
Yeah. So I guess we can always just build that into his thing anyway. So I kind of like the idea that it kind of that you chain the lightning through, and you're trying to get that you can get to the back lines where the damage matters a bit more. Okay, so if we just assume that it's like so we've got some amount of medium, slow, and damage effect in an AoE. Okay, I think that's cool. That would certainly make him because if you look at the picture of Volibear, like that's the kind of idea that you're getting from looking at his picture, is that he's going to have this big sort of thing going on where he's going to be, the Stormbringer.
Yeah, he's the one who brings the storm. I mean, I think that I still think that's really not worked out in this kit. I think there's a lot better. I mean, tooting on our own horn here, but okay.
Well, so what we could probably do as well is try and build this whole, because if we've got this whole sort of static ship idea in here, we could try and we've now got the QW and E to try and come up with more interesting ways of dealing with it. So let's do a quick run over what they've got already. So you've got Rolling Thunder, which is run at people really quickly and flip them. So I think that's probably of his basic abilities is the one that's most recognizable.
Yeah, and I also still think we should keep that one in, or sort of keep the concept in at least.
Okay, so I'm okay with that. So run, flip, can probably stay. Maybe we can make it a bit more interesting, but I guess it's okay. It's pretty straightforward, but it's okay. Frenzy feels like the one which is the most expendable of the abilities because it's
very sad because it's also his best ability. Maybe even better than his passive because it does a lot of damage and it makes him very hard to 1v1. But as you said already, it doesn't necessarily have to be in his. I still think he should have some ability that bites people because he is still a bear.
Well,
and yeah,
I was thinking that I had the idea before we came on air, what about the idea that he like if he's kind of displacing a lot because he's got the Rolling Thunder to displace. I don't know if there's necessarily room for 2 forms of displacement on his kit, but how about like if we got the same sort of Tam Kench idea, which we've kind of got already. So Frenzy currently just gives him a bunch of attack speed for hitting stuff and then executes. What about the idea that he could grab hold of somebody like and displace them, like fling them? I don't know if that's too similar, but like kind of like
no.
bite
I
and
get
throw.
when he literally bites onto a person, and actually we can make it very interesting. So he can bite on a person where he slows them because he's stuck onto them. His mouth is stuck onto them.
Okay, so we're getting quite a lot out of the Warwick stuff, but okay.
Okay. That's maybe too similar to work. Make it something like a rage. He marks someone and gets angry at the person, gets bonus movement speed towards him. Upon activating the ability, you get the old charge like really. Oh, that's also an interesting one.
Oh, maybe that rage is something that you can only do on someone who's dealt damage to you.
Oh yeah, that's very good.
Oh well, yeah, okay. So
because then it makes his incentive to flip an 80 carry very well. Because if you attack Volibear, if you want to kite him, he's gonna run at you faster.
Yeah, maybe the more damage you deal to him, the faster he runs at you.
Yeah, that's a very good one. So he gets more move speed. That's the passive part of the ability. So he gets more move speed toward champions who have done more recent damage to him.
Yeah. Okay. I really like that. That sounds really cool. Because it's sort of like it does sort of put a decision in there. It's like, what do you just try and? Because I think that's something we haven't necessarily been doing a huge amount in our champion design kits. Is thinking about how does somebody play into this really.
Well, the thing is with Volibear, he's very easily kiteable. He's not in a bad spot, but he kind of is as well because every champion right now has a dash or something. So he's too. I mean, if you put him up against a Vayne just rolls away, condemns you against the wall, and you're just standing there doing really nothing. With this, if you just keep auto attacking him, you're gonna give him so much move speed towards you that you're in a whole heap of trouble.
Well, this could be a good place to bring in. Well, I'll make sure to send you the link to the finished video once we're done. But thank you for dropping by and giving your suggestions. It's really
very good ideas. Thank you.
Well, the thing where I was sitting on like the champion ability idea, which is possibly making this whole rage thing into a little overcomplicated, was the idea that he would have like a kind of a Tam Kench idea going on, which is like maybe as part of this rage thing that as he takes more damage, he gains more regen, and that kind of stacks up over time.
We need to be careful that we don't make him Mundo, as in because I get what you're trying to do, which is fine, but we need to be very careful that we don't give him too much, regen, because he already has. I think he already now has 3 things that heal him. No, 2.
Well, he's got he's got his passive, which is enhanced by his R. I mean, I don't know if this necessarily makes sense to him, but just to finish off the idea, so like that this could even work actually possibly better on Mundo, which is that he takes as he takes damage, his like rather than it being a because normally, so I've told you this before, but just for the purpose of the stream, so the idea that normally if you've got the Spirit Visage, for example, you regen when you take damage, and if you get to take damage again, that sort of resets the duration, and you just kind of get that same effect for longer. But the idea being instead of it resetting, it does reset, but it stacks on top of itself.
Oh yeah.
So the more damage you take, the more regen you get. And
I think that's a very, very good one, because again, it makes him very good against 80 carries.
Because they will do consistent damage, which will keep stacking it up. This actually, the more I think about this, the more this might be a Mundo thing. But I thought the kind of the downside to the ability would be if you don't damage him for a certain amount of time, that he then goes back and takes as much damage as he's regenerated, like twice as much damage back, so that he loses the stuff which he just regenerated, and he also then.
Oh, so it's like the opposite of Grey Health.
Yes.
So it's like he can regen it back, as long as he stays in combat.
Yes.
Otherwise, he loses what he regens. Oh
Yeah.
wow, that's a very interesting one.
I don't know if it fits. I think possibly it's probably more of a Mundo thing than it is a Volibear thing,
It sounds like a Mundo thing.
but okay. So I do like the rage thing. So which sort of discourages people from hitting him, but that's kind of fun.
I think we should make that the passive part, and then he should have something active on the W. Because I know it's silly, but I don't like abilities that are purely passive, and I think a lot of people don't.
Let's see. Well, so if he's, because I'm thinking that if several people are, yeah. So this is going to be the question for the rage thing: is it somebody? Does he choose somebody who's dealt him damage, or does this apply to everybody who's dealing him damage?
I think it should apply to everybody who's dealing damage to, or it should apply to the person who has done the most damage to him in like this fight. And when he engages combat, the person who has done the most damage in like say 10 or 12 seconds past you'll get that movement speed buff towards him.
Okay, so I mean we can always just throw in the displacement ability there, or the I do kind of we could put the bite on there. It's like, so I don't think it's necessarily terrible to have a thing like the Warwick.
Or you can make him like he bites somebody and he does a certain amount of damage. Like you can give that to him. Active, he bites and he resets his auto attack or something.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of it being a. Actually, I don't.
He bites and we can make it actually very simple. He bites and his next auto attack resets. If he kills a minion, if he kills something, his next auto attack will reset his passive. That's very simple and fits very well into his kit.
Okay. Okay, I like that idea. I think that's kind of cool. All right, and then so Majestic Roar. So this is probably one of the more developed parts of his kit. So this is going to be very similar to how Mundo will be later on, which is where Volibear has received kind of mini reworks over time. So they've put in some stuff to try and make him a little bit more worthwhile. So let's take a quick look at Majestic Roar in detail if we can. It was before, it was basically the AoE Roar, which is a knockback and slow, and also fearing critters.
I don't think it was a knockback. I think it was a knockback purely for minions. And it also feared minions in the beginning, so you can see what were not being blocked by them because they were running from you. Because I used to main volley in like season 2 or 3, so that was yeah. You wanted to Majestic Roar in lane because the minions were going all over the place. You weren't minion blocked anymore.
I think I thought that the Majestic Roar, I think, doesn't it cancel out people who are in the air? Or am I making it up?
I think it doesn't it do more damage when you're in the air.
It does more damage. Yes, it does 8% max health, which is quite a lot. I thought it actually stopped them, but I might be just making it up. I thought maybe it did that at some point. Maybe it doesn't. I'm looking at on the wiki, and it doesn't seem to have anything. I know it does, like it knocks back and slow, so maybe that just as part of knocking the back does affect people who are already in the air. But I seem to remember that was something they brought into his kit to give him more of an identity of being good against champions that kind of bounce around the place all the time. So I don't know, but that's probably is much more a take it or leave it kind of part of his kit, like just because it's like it doesn't necessarily certainly play into our idea terribly well. Apart from it, like it's effectively a form of slow.
We can give him something of a roar. I've always, you know what I've always wondered? Why doesn't any champion have something like a let's buff our allies, as in...
Warwick used to.
Yeah, or Gangplank used to have, but it was so bad. Like, I don't know if you ever played WoW, like a Bloodlust ability, sort of.
Well, he is a... Actually, I kind of like that idea, because he is a herd leader.
Yeah, he is, because he's the leader of a group, and he brought them back into war. So let his roar be his roar can be something that buffs his allies.
What about this? I'm certain this is already at a kind of ability already, but I can't remember what it is. Which is that you hold down the E, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of like it spins up a circular AOE around you, but it also, in the direction that you're pushing your mouse cursor, puts out a line. So you've kind of got the AOE, which you can charge up, which will then give your allies some kind of buff, but it will also shoot out a skill shot that will, I don't know, negatively affect the person that it hits with an extending range. Again, the longer you hold it down.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I'm sure there is an ability like that already, but I can't remember what it is.
Isn't it like the old Galio Q?
Uh, the old Galio Q was, I can't remember honestly. But yeah, well, I mean that's kind of by the way anyway. What do you reckon of that idea?
So basically, he does a skill shot where, sorry, he does a skill shot where he throws something out, but it also buffs your allies. So that's what
Yeah,
that
so
you're.
it's
That's
kind of
correctly
got
right.
a two part thing. So it's I
Yeah.
think it is very Galio esque, but it's basically combining two of his abilities, which is the AO, like the charging AOE effect of the idle effect on Galio, except rather than taunting, it's giving you
Oh.
a buff to your allies in a bigger.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
That's right.
carry on.
Yeah, so you've got the AOE. It's like the Galio taunt, but which grows over time, but it gives the buff to your allies, and then it's also got the secondary effect, which is that I guess like a Zerath shot. Like over time, it gets longer range, and then that's your way to do damage from a longer range. You probably slow them.
Yeah, that sounds. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's doable. Um, I'm wondering if he should have something where he how this would thematically fit into his kit, because um, maybe he can throw something, or he can put a mark on. Or we already have a mark because of the rage thingy.
Uh, I'm just trying to let's see. Hmm.
I don't know. We can. I was thinking of your taking your idea
Hmm.
and buffing it the more, as in it becomes more.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
I think your connection's going. You still there?
hello.
Okay. All right. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Yeah. So sorry, you're
Okay.
saying it would be more powerful. What the more people?
Or it would be no, he would be more powerful the more rage he had. For example, if if somebody had a lot of he had a lot of rage, the W against a certain champion, that the ability would be a bit more effective. But I don't know if you
Okay.
want to. I think we can do this. We can really make him a go in tank and take a person down champion, which is kind of what he is now, but doesn't do it well enough.
Okay. Well, tell you what. In that case, that would make sense to make that the active of the W.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
So, Raw's AoE skill shot are more powerful the more rage they have,
Yeah.
uh, or damage dealt.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right. So, all right, well, so it still gives us room for his. So we've got the raw into the kit. We've got we're running in flip. So we've really got E left pretty open to be more or less anything.
We can have a lot of fun with this one. As in, so what is he missing? I think that's the most important part. What is he missing in his kit at the moment?
Hmm. Let's see. So he's not got any way to jump over walls.
Do we
He's
need
got
to give it to him though?
well he's got a ranged ability now. I guess I don't know honestly. Like something that makes him harder to kill. That's maybe something we don't specifically have.
Oh yeah. Oh sure, that's fine. Um, we can do something with his armor, as in because we can tie this back to Orn, as in he got given a, or at least from Orn he got given a good, a very good armor from Orn, as in I'm thinking what's something we can do with this, making a bit more tanky.
Hmm. So let's see. I mean, to be fair, a lot of League of Legends tank abilities aren't really that complicated.
No,
Like we could
just
start.
like take less damage or get more armor.
Well, so Jarvan's got the whole thing of like the more people you're surrounded by, the bigger the shield you get, and like that's a very straightforward ability.
Mm-hmm.
We could do something along those lines.
Um, we can make it the more allies or the more enemies he's running towards, the more resistance he gets. That's
Okay.
something very.
This
Makes
whole
it,
this whole kit is basically just put items into his kit. So yeah,
is it? Oh yeah, the stone split goggle. Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't.
that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it makes it so that if a Volibear is running it, you're really like, oh boy, a Volibear is running at our team. Because, for example, take now, Volibear is running at your team, and okay, right now it's like, okay, let's just kite him. But when you see this Volibear running at your team, he doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is, guys, get away because he's gonna flip our AD carry. And I think that's basically what you want to do with Volibear, don't you?
Well, yes. So I mean, we've kind of already got that with the. If we keep the queue roughly as it is, though, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the run at. So if we kind of think about what they're going to do, so with the queue is going to run up and run at them and flip. The rage is going to allow him to pursue a specific target, and also like hold on to them by throwing out this roar. So presumably, so he's got to them, he's got on them. I guess. Well, he's in his previous kit. He's got the execute on the frenzy. So he could make a shield that either makes him more deadly or makes it
Or we
easier for him to
could
stick on people.
we can give him a lot, or we can make it a damaging ability, but that at the same time makes him tankier. Hmm.
Okay. So
Or gives
like,
him a slow. He doesn't have a slow yet. Oh yeah, no, he's ultimate slows. Well, we can give him another slow.
give him all the slows.
No, no, he has one. He has one slow at the moment, which is only on his ultimate. So I think we can give him another slow. I think that's fine.
Okay. Well, so if we give him, let's just go with like a Jarvan shield then.
Yeah.
So more surround, more shield, and then just add something onto it to make it not just a Jarvan shield.
Um. Okay. So.
It could be. I suppose if he's got a. I mean, this is actually we won't worry about it being too complicated. Maybe he's got a. He could actually have rage as a bar. Like, I wonder if he had a Tryndamere like rage bar, and that his shield becomes more powerful the more rage he has, and he gets rage from taking damage.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
and he can do is he can release all the rage. So this is a very good one. So what we can do is the rage is kind of his his ticket to engaging. But if you can't engage, he can kind of like Tryndamere consume all of his rage to make him tankier, to let him heal something back, or maybe not heal something back because that's too much Tryndamere, but to make
it
him
could just make the shield
tankier.
stronger. Yeah.
Yeah, make the shield stronger, as in you sacrifice your engaging capability for survival, which is kind of something that not a lot of champions have, which is a very good versatile ability, and at the same time not being too overpowerful.
Yeah, well, he could. Yeah, that kind of works. Like, if his W, you can either you get two choices of how you want to deploy his rage. Either you use it to get the longer range skill shot, and you try and then build up your rage again for the shield, or you spend your rage on the shield, and it gets stronger. I think that'd
Mm-hmm.
be kind of cool. I think that would make a lot of sense for him.
Yeah,
Okay.
and let's say that it can kind of. Does it do damage as E? I don't know if it does.
I mean, it could do.
It
It
could
could
do,
be
yeah.
maybe it's got maybe it's like a rumble shield, and the more rage you've got, the more effect it has.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So high rage means slow and more shield.
Yeah.
Like, we're definitely cribbing pretty hard from other champions and abilities here, but I think this stuff does make sense. Also, I can't spell
It
shield.
does make sense. No, I think it's still fine. This one, I
Yeah.
think this would probably okay kit at the moment.
Okay, let's see. So I think we've gotten over halfway with our hour. Yes, we're 40 minutes. We need to. I think this is all right. We can always come back to it next week. But let's go across to Mundo then, because I think we've got a feasible kit where we've effectively the main thing we put in here is a rage bar instead of mana, static shiv, and then just a more interesting ultimate, really,
Mm-hmm.
and also some interesting ways to pay off on the rage. So, all right, let me just make sure everything's coming across on the stream properly. So, all right, so Doctor
What if
Mundo.
we take away mana from Volibear? What if we give Mundo a mana bar?
All right, I'm prepared to entertain this possibility because I feel like a lot of time a lack of mana bar is not necessarily adding that much to a champion. All right, so let me just get this set up. So we've got passive, Q W E R. All right, so let's talk about the cleaver. Is probably the main thing we're going to be fairly clear that we're going to keep in.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't think we should. Mundo chose cleavers. That's basically his thing. So okay.
Okay, so I had a really weird idea for Mundo, which I want to pitch out there, even though I don't necessarily think it's the best idea for him. Which is, so gameplay-wise, I think pain as a mechanic is a cool gameplay concept, even though all the backstory is treated very kind of giggly by the game itself, which is just a little cringy. But how about the idea that he connects to other people, and then he's kind of got a pain network built up? And this is, I haven't really thought this through properly to be able to explain it properly either, but just the idea that he shares his pain with other people. So that maybe if he hits a cleaver on somebody, he imagine the sort of idea that he kind of the cleavers have got chains on the end of them or something, and the cleaver stays connected to the person he's hit for a certain amount of time, and then he does a reverse Knight's Vow effect, where when he takes damage, the person who he's cleaved also takes a proportion of that damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. That's just something that came to me, and I was like, "That's kind of a neat idea," but I don't think it's anything like it.
No. I think so. What he does is, if you get hit by a cleaver, let's say the next couple of seconds, you take, or at least an amount of the damage that Mundo is taking at that specific time.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool.
That's a very good ability. Yeah.
So, share the pain. So it's reverse Knight's Vow effect. Take a proportion. Because that gives that kind of because I like that idea because it gives Mundo, to start with at least, a kind of engagement pattern where you've got some decision making to, some very distinct decision making to make. Because if for the opposing team, theoretically, they could just time their damage to not coincide with when the cleaver is on someone vulnerable.
Also, it is actually a very interesting ability because of two things. First of all, it makes him very difficult to 1v1. And second, let's not say they take all the damage, but they take a percentage.
Yeah.
It's very scalable, as in the beginning, if it's 10%, that's not all that much. But if Mundo gets tankier and tankier, because he's so tanky, if he takes let's say it's 20%. If you do 3,000 damage to Mundo, which late game you're still not gonna kill a Mundo, that means that you've taken so much damage as well. It's oh, okay, I've just taken 600 damage just by attacking Mundo, or at least done 600 damage to somebody in my own team, which is, I think, again makes him very scalable. So yeah, very very nice ability. Oh, never really thought of a concept like that. That's very cool.
Yeah, that's just like, that just pops into my head now. It's like, that'd be kind of neat. I mean, we
Yeah,
are
sort of a
hitting
pain link.
yeah, like, because it kind of makes sense that if his whole thematic is pain, that sharing the pain is a very kind of direct connection there.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so we've set him up with. I think this is a nice cue just because it gives you a reason to be paying attention to what he's doing. So for the rest of the kit, like, now we've got the cleaver out of the way, which kind of felt is a sort of an obligation with Mundo. I think we're pretty open with the rest of it. Like Burning Agony, like, it's just like, it doesn't. I feel like nobody's gonna miss that if that's gone.
No,
no one even notices masochism's a thing.
No, he basically, what is a team? He sets himself on fire or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just something he has on all the time. It can practically be a passive because of, like, except outside of like some kind of specific circumstances early on, you just leave it on all the time. It just does damage around you, so it's, and gives him tenacity, and it feels like it's really underbaked as an ability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. he could literally have that as a passive, and it wouldn't change very much about the game at all. In fact, I might propose that to just be put onto his passive, just to get.
What if it's his passive? I mean, it's like the Kale thing. Whenever he levels his ultimate, it upgrades. So
yeah,
pre-level 6, you don't have an AOE ability, which is good because you don't want to push lane. And then it gets stronger and stronger. Like in his third ability, you really do not want to be near Mundo, or you do not want to be in melee range of Mundo, because you are going to take a lot of damage.
Yeah, I like that idea, because it's very clear that, like, I'm going to make the text a bit bigger actually, it's easy to read. Is that working?
I think it just made it smaller.
Yes, I did. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I absolutely think if we want to keep Burning Agony, then just sticking it on his passive and scaling it with ult is completely fine, because, like, you know, it's just a boring ability, and now we freed up an entire W to have something more interesting.
Okay, cool. Okay, so he is still this kind of Hulkish-like character.
Oh, that's the thing we were talking about before, and is that, yeah, he's basically his character concept is effectively the Incredible Hulk, but without the whole duality aspect of it.
Oh yeah, his changing part. Yeah.
So what was it we were saying about, like, we could potentially build in as a is it almost like a Gnar mechanic for him?
It was something. I had the idea where the longer he's in combat, as in combat with champions, the more the tankier he gets, and also literally the physical bigger, like Zac would do, because Zac gets bigger with the amount of health he has. But the more damage he takes, the bigger he gets, and he really becomes this big, huge tank, this hulking character where he's really mad, he's gone really, really big, he's taking a lot of damage. So I think that's something, because then if he then goes in, he's this huge frontliner for your team thematically, but also he will tank a lot of skill shots because he's just a bit bigger. He's like, let's say, maybe not 6-stack Cho'Gath big, but at least something we can, you can tweak that here and there.
Well, how about if we bring in that whole idea which we were talking about with Volibear, because currently if he just gets bigger over and gets more stats, regen, health, whatever it is over time, then it's effectively impossible to deal with him, because he'll just run into your team, and unless you can burst through that, then you just will lose. But what about if we brought in the idea that he gets. I love the idea of him getting bigger and tankier over time, but then we bring in, like, the negative aspects of that if you can kite him out for long enough, that he'll then start to, I guess, at least have that effect end, if not take a further negative effect.
What if it's like, if it goes on for too long? Because that's now a thing with Mundo, what makes him very difficult to deal with.
Okay.
If you drag on fights with Mundo, loves being in fights that last a minute, because I'm Mundo, I regen, I do damage, I put my ultimate twice in a team fight, which, okay, he's won. But we can, let's say it caps at a certain point, and from then on out he starts using up his own health or something like that.
Okay, so it's like an Aatrox, the old Aatrox ultimate. Well, I say old, like the one they just changed, which is that it lasts for a certain amount of time, and then after that point, he doesn't get any more.
Yeah, something similar.
I like that. Yeah, so it's so cool. Builds up to a crescendo. I can't spell crescendo at all. Sorry. No, it doesn't. Even...
Way too many H in there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an H in crescendo.
Is that? All right. Oh no.
To the Google Mobile.
All right. Oh, you're right. There is no H at all. Kresk. Oh, I was just missing one C. Okay, there we go. So Bissell to crescendo, and then debuffs like exhaustion or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that so you've kind of it's kind of like
he's basically tired. He ran out of steam or something like that.
Yeah, he's gone on a rampage. But that rampage will eventually end, so there's actually some degree of counterplay to it rather than just being, you get stronger and stronger and stronger. I like the idea. I think that's cool.
Okay. So we still have his W and his E. Let me think. So do we want to keep in the theme? The theme pain. The theme pain. Jesus. Jesus, damn.
Well, let's think about what he's going to try and accomplish. So currently, with just the abilities he's got at the moment, he's going to go up and he's going to start cleavering people, probably just doing the same damage effect, and also get tankier over time with taking more damage. But there's still the main problem that Mundo's got, which is that if you can, to an extent, just ignore him. So maybe if we can figure out a way to get his W and E to do things that will force people to... Not completely force people to deal with him, but just like give them a reason to. So would he because I guess the question is, do we want Mundo hitting the front lines, or do we want Mundo be sort of wading through the team and going for the squishies?
I think we want to be at the front lines, right? As in, actually, we can kind of make him more hulkier. As in, his kit is pretty basic, but what he has like this charge up. As in, I'm thinking of the scene where the Hulk, like the movie Hulk, where he charges at someone, and he's sort of going down on all fours, and he's literally walking. So what if is that?
You mean like a Volibear Q, which we have?
No, not really like a Volibear Q. As in, it can go either direction. As in, he just he stomps at the ground and then he does a dash,
like a headbutt kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah, but not necessarily. Yeah, sort of like where he just, or he does a small jump or something. It doesn't necessarily need to be.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, so in the Edward Norton Hulk.
Yeah.
Okay, so he leaps, like kind of like a mini Malphite ult, I guess.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a gap closer, as in it can be more of because it can take up a sort of wind up time. So it's not considered, because I don't think we should give him all that much mobility, because it is still a Mundo. It is still a tank, and we just give him, he just jumps in. It doesn't really cover a big large area, but he stuns everybody he lands on.
I do like the Hulk leap. I think that's kind of
that's kind of Hulk leap, and he stuns you if he lands on you.
I have a feeling we might have used this ability recently, but that's alright. I think it works. I think it works for him.
Oh yeah, we have, yeah, but that was different because he it was very long range.
Okay, I think that's alright, because if it's a short range leap, it means that that's a gap closer, and it also allows him to get across terrain. Like that's pretty straightforward, but I think it's fine. It's certainly a hell of a lot more interesting than his current ability, so I can live with it.
Okay.
All right, so we've got the gap closer now, so we just need. Because you're right that the adrenaline rush really just doesn't do anything that noticeable during combat a lot of time. So if we just literally replace it burning agony, like, people aren't even going to notice a lot in a lot of cases. So he's pretty open. So currently we've got masochism, which rewards him for being on lower health. Let's zoom in on this on stream just so I can.
Okay, we can keep something a little similar in there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So this is one of the things I was talking about before, where they kind of slightly reworked him by giving him this thing of gaining magic resistance by taking magic damage, to kind of like to try and narrow him down to being an anti-mage to an extent.
Yeah, and also because Mundo, if you want, Vladimir is a pain in the butt to deal with. But if you put a Mundo up against him, you just build Spectre's Scowl, and Mundo's like, okay, you're gonna damage me, fine. I'm a Mundo, I have buckets and buckets of magic resist in a couple of minutes, and I'm already building magic resist. So I think we can kind of still work that in there.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're going to build in the aspect of him being an anti-mage, though I don't think it's necessarily terribly thematic. I think they just wanted to find a niche for Mundo. So, alright, so...
We can, I don't know, yeah, we can make him... I was thinking of, what if we're staying in the Hulk team character, what if you literally rip CC off of him? As in, you know, because the Hulk is sort of like is this character that you cannot stop, as in it's the unstoppable beast.
Okay.
He just rips everything off. You cannot chain him. What if he does something similar? Like he when he gets his C on him, he just kind of rips it off, and like, yeah, I can still punch my way through this one.
Well, I quite like that idea. How about if we combine it with the idea of him being able to sacrifice, like, that he could charge up an attack that does him, like, so like the Olaf E, whose name I can't draw to mind at the moment.
I'm not sure. No, that's his Q. I just played him. Okay, let me look it up. But explain.
But yeah, like, that's obviously the name's not terribly important. But the point of it being that it does damage to him and it does damage to the other side as well.
Reckless swing, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So how about the idea of him having his E could be a charge upable thing that this kind of has synergy with the share the pain idea, which is that the longer you hold down E, the more damage your next auto attack does, but it also does damage to you.
Oh yeah. Okay, so so we can make him something that whenever he uses his E in quick succession, he takes a lot of damage himself, but he also deals a lot of damage.
Yeah, hurts self to do damage.
Or because Mundo's a character where he's very difficult to one-hit because he has a lot of damage. What if we make it different? Like when he burns off the CC, he gives himself like a crazy amount or like a big amount of AD. As in, oh, suddenly Mundo is very, very strong now because he ripped itself off and like he's a bit more vulnerable, but he also does a lot of more damage. Like the opposite was what we did with Volibear, where Volibear sacrificed damage or engage potential for survivability, and Mundo does the opposite.
Wait, sorry. So I thought he was getting rid of other people's CC on him.
Yeah, so he's getting rid of other people's CC on him. But when he does it, he gets a lot of bonus AD. As in, he gets it when he uses it. But while he's not being CC'd, he gets like a small or medium amount of AD. But when he gets when he rips off the CC, he gets like a big chunk of AD, where he's like, oh damn, Mundo's really strong now.
Okay, yeah, I like that idea. So presumably it's going to need to have a relatively long cooldown. So
yeah, probably.
He's not like completely impossible to stop just walking over to and killing your carries. Yeah, I like that idea. I think that works relatively well.
Yeah.
So how are we doing for time? Oh, we're basically at an hour, so that works out pretty well.
I think we kind of took a really good perspective on these champions.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm actually kind of happy what we did here today, because we worked more on Volibear, which was gonna be obvious in the beginning, because his kit is is a bit more complex than Mundo's is. But I think we kept Mundo's fairly straightforward, while at the same time giving him more complexity.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier, definitely, with Mundo. Just to be, like, I kind of feel like if you just put anything in, then you're already better off where you started, just because his kit is really under complex. Okay, so let's run through in our last couple minutes. So, Exodus, do you want to take us through the Volibear and I'll take us through the Mundo?
Yes. Okay. So Volibear, we've made him a kind of champion where he can engage on a certain target. He can still his kit still kind of revolves around his Q, but we've also looked more into a storm aspect of his lore and kind of brought this into his kit as well. So basically, his passive makes him. His passive is a sort of static shift effect, but he heals from the damage. He does, but if he's on low health, he heals a lot more, making him, the healing part of his passive is in there. Q is just basically the same, run and flip, but the W, more or less the same, but the W is changed, meaning that the more damage you personally deal to Volibear, the more rage you get, and the more move speed he will get towards you. Also, that's the passive part. The active part is he has a skill shot, which deals more damage again with more rage he has on you. His E is sort of similar to Jarvan Shield, as in the more enemies he's surrounded with, the harder it shields. It's also based on his rage, and he also slows. It also slows when he activates it. The R is just an engage tool. He summons a storm, and his passive will charge a lot faster. And yeah, it's basically his engage tool. It's like Maokai Old's ultimate of range, but it's a storm around him which does damage, which he obviously will heal from because of the passive, and also it slows, which makes him better at engaging.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely think just getting him to lean more on his lightning ideas, I think will make him feel more like a more modern champion, if anything else. So for Mundo, so we've threw his Burning Agony onto his passive, because honestly his passive kind of doesn't exist currently. So his Cleaver is probably his most noticeable, one of his more noticeable mechanics. So I think this is actually not a bad kit, which is that he gets to create a pain link with champions that he hits, causing a reverse Knight's Vow, which will make them take a proportion of the damage that Mundo is taking, which gives the other, I kind of like this as an ability because it kind of gives the other team an interaction point they wouldn't have otherwise. His W is kind of like basically just a basic jump anywhere, kind of, I presume probably moves relatively slowly if we're going to do the Hulk jump. His E is punishing people for putting a CC on him, that he wipes off CC and can charge up to do damage to himself and also do a enhanced auto attack probably. Or it could be a AoE attack, I don't know. And his R is probably, I guess, another noticeable thing that he kind of has an Aatrox thing going on. He activates his ultimate, and then he gets tankier over time. The more damage he takes, he gets more and more stats. We're not going through the specifics of that, but just more tankiness, more regeneration. But after a certain amount of time, that will sort of overload, and he'll probably get he'll not only lose the stats he's been gaining, but get some sort of debuff.
Yeah, I can see both of them working in team fights and working as champions, actually. It's pretty interesting. Because I can sort of see Volibear is more of a niche pick, but I see Mundo more of as in sort of what Zion role has at the moment. As sort of, because Mundo's not a very good engager at this point, even with the kit we have reworked here, but it still means that he can tank CC and he's still this hulking beast, which is in there, and you need to deal with him somehow.
Yeah, I think we went right for our first attempts to rework. I think these two champions definitely make it a little bit easier, just because, again, anything we do is probably going to be better than where they are at the moment.
Fair enough.
Well, that's going to be it for our Champ Design Workshop number 6, which is our first redesign workshop. We didn't really get that in the intro. Should have. Oh well, never mind. Exodus, if people would like to see more of your good self, where would they find you?
Well, good sir, if you are Belgian or Dutch at least, you can, or no, because we have an English cast as well.
Ooh.
So we are having the rival college league, meaning the college league in Belgium, which we've been working on very hard. The finals are coming up this weekend. We are at the VRT, which means it's a public broadcast. It's probably our biggest network station. We're in those buildings. Attendance is free, but you do need to order tickets. Tickets are still available. Just go to rivalcollegeleague.be or .com. I think both of them work. And you can just find out everything everything there yourself. A lot of free drinks, a lot of free food. You can meet a lot of celebrities. Well, sort of celebrities. You can also meet very good. Well, you can meet esports celebrities in the Benelux, but you can also meet real celebrities. You know, famous people from Belgium who are actually going to be there. So try and look it up. Try and look up on my Twitter, where I'm gonna, spam the crap out of that because I really want people to come because it sounds like a very big production and it's probably one of the best productions we're gonna do this year. So please come. And now for yourself, what are you gonna do?
Hey, I'm just having a look and see if I can find the site. Did you say it's
Rival spelled with a gangster style. The A is a 4.
That's probably what threw me off. Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay, so I'll put that in the chat, and hopefully anyone who's interested can find it. So rivalcollegeleague.be. Actually, I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, there we go. And I think we're doing in English, we're doing in Dutch, and we're doing a French cast. So you can't say, oh, it's in Belgium. I don't understand any of the languages. We're living in Belgium. We know how to deal with language issues. So let's just keep that one in mind. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So rivalcollegeleague.be/en if you happen to be in Belgium. Will there be an online broadcast?
As well. We'll also be on the radio. We'll be on Studio Brussel. So you can check that one out as well. I don't think we're going to do the entire broadcast on that one. It's just small tits and bits and small interviews from the Brussels. The people who work at the radio station there are going to do bits over at us as well. So guys, check it out and hit me up. And I'll also be bringing my Game of Thrones whiskey bottle.
So yeah,
that's not for you, but that's just a little tit and bit there.
So you're Castle Exodus on Twitter as well. So if people want to get it all in one place, of course I'm Counterfeit Cast in all the same kind of places as well. But yeah, this has been our first champion design. Champion redesign workshop. I even forgot the title myself. So guys, please let us know if you've got any ideas about how you'd like to see Mundo or Volibear changed around, and absolutely let us know. This is very much one of the thousands of potential ways that you could approach this. So absolutely let us know. We'll be looking to get into the other members of the redesign next time round, which is let me just grab it.
I know Fiddlesticks was on there as well.
Yes, Fiddlesticks, Nocturne, and Shyvana. So I don't know if we'll do all of them at once, but we'll be getting to.
We can do Shyvana Nocturne next time because those are two. Both of them are junglers, which pretty fast clearing speed and attacks. So again, the same region.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could work. So, alright, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you again next time.
Bye.